A small town has banned all gun and ammo sales within its limits through a set of ordinances and zoning laws, made it illegal to shoot a gun in town limits, and even went so far as to compare gun shops to drug dealing. 3 guesses? On which state? Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you guessed California, well, been there, done that. A California town tried that a while back and backpedaled after some coverage in the Second Amendment sphere. If you guessed New York, which I'm sure would have been in your top 3, you'd be right. Officials in the Long Island community of Babylon Village, population about 12,000, have enacted a ban on gun and ammo purchases in the town, along with a new law banning the illegal discharge of a firearm, which is supposed to stop criminals with illegal guns from shooting them because, the people that already broke the law by having the gun in the first place are going to care about Babylon Village's little ordinance, but it turns out that part of the law isn't quite what it seems. Now, Google tells me that Babylon Village is a town of luxury beachfront hotels that sees a whopping 6 violent crimes on average. The median household income is $127,000 a year, with a per-person income of $44,000 back in 2020. So, they're doing pretty good over there. Still, officials claim that these new laws are needed to keep residents safe. "We just thought it was in the best interest to put something in place," said Mayor Mary Adams. "Good people carry guns and so do bad people, and I'm not going to take that chance. I've got to protect the kids and the families here." But before I tell you all the details of what exactly this legislation does, this video is brought to you by the Attorneys on Retainer program from the Attorneys for Freedom. Now, if you ever find yourself in a self-defense incident, hopefully you never do, but you don't want to have to face it alone. The folks in the Attorneys on Retainer program are actual attorneys who have been defending gun owners since 1997 and not an insurance program, which means that they don't have the same restrictions as insurance companies who, by law, can't cover potentially criminal acts, which kind of seems to defeat the purpose if you defend yourself and get charged with a crime. A call to their hotline instantly puts you on the phone with a lawyer ready to give you on-the-spot legal advice. Their only requirements are that you reasonably acted in good faith and that the incident happened after purchasing coverage, which means that they'll even cover the so-called questionable and bad shoots, incidents in gun-free zones, unlicensed guns, domestics, accidents, you name it. They cover everything from felonies to misdemeanors, even appeals and bail bonds. So switch on over from your existing self-defense coverage today by heading on over to my link down in the description, and you can use code LibertyDoll to get $50 off your individual sign-up. Babylon's legislation, Local Law Chapter 117, entitled Firearm Use and Sales, took effect this month. It prohibits the retail sale of firearms, ammunition, fireworks, or explosives, and bans anyone from illegally carrying or discharging a firearm, exempting, of course, police and maybe licensed individuals, which are unicorns in many parts of the state anyways. But if you read the actual law carefully, which, by the way, I could only seem to find a copy of on the Long Island Firearms Forum, not even on the town's website, the discharge section actually reads, "Discharge prohibited, exceptions. No person shall discharge any hunting instrument, firearm, gun or air rifle or gun so constructed as to discharge pellets, darts, or BBs by spraying compressed air or compressed gas within the limits of the village. This chapter shall not apply to police officers in the discharge of their duties or to any firing squad at a military funeral or to any properly constructed range approved by the Commissioner of Public Safety of the village." Which is a big difference from just saying that people can't discharge illegal guns. It sounds like you're really not allowed to do anything except go to a range and be a cop. Even better, the next section on firearms and weapons even bans water pistols. Unless maybe you're a licensed gun owner. That is to be determined. Now, again, I find this pretty interesting that this law isn't even available on the town website Adams claims that this whole thing was not done in response to gun businesses trying to open in town, and carved out exemptions for 2 gun shows that are held at the Villages American Legion every year, which, by the way, they were trying to get more gun shows in, and now that is a moot point. Now, the owner of the only FFL in town points out that this does nothing for safety and instead limits gun owners' options for where they can buy guns and ammo and restricts lawful commerce. And as proof that this is not at all about restricting gun businesses in town, the mayor told the local news, "They can go purchase a gun somewhere else. I just don't want a store in the downtown selling them." Which sounds like the exact opposite of her statement that this wasn't about gun businesses wanting to open in town. She also said that it doesn't violate the Second Amendment, and by New York's yardstick, it doesn't. Because New York's yardstick is also not indicative of reality. After all, the state already has very rigorous permitting requirements, so rigorous that they led to the Bruin decision, which New York has pretty much ignored. The town also already has a pretty rigorous process to open up a firearm business. Matthew Seifer, owner of Guardian Guns and Ammo in Deer Park, which is, again, the only operating FFL in town, says that he had to get a special exception permit from the Zoning Board of Appeals and that gun shops are only permitted in E-Business or G-Industry zoning districts. He did recently get an approval to add a range, but it sounds like it's probably only because he also provides safety training. But now, from the sound of this legislation, he might have to close up shop. It's not clear whether or not he gets a pass for having an existing business before officials made these rules, though it sounds like maybe the range could stand so long as it's approved by whatever commission. As it stands, the Supreme Court has already decided that providers of constitutionally protected goods and services have constitutional rights, and the Second Amendment is one of those rights. But it's probably easier to just pick a new location rather than trying to fight City Hall. Literally. According to some lurking I did in the Long Island firearms forums, the mayor said at the January meeting and vote that the legislation is about protecting a group of children that frequent the downtown community and that having a gun shop there would disrupt the community and the children's safety. She also pointed to a marijuana shop that opened downtown and problems with people dealing illegally behind the store, implying that the same thing would happen with a gun shop, which, I mean, I guess is possible, but that would also already be illegal. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. You guys know the drill. For all of the Ogram things, please do them. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting.